King and Queen tour, fury after Australian protester posts beheaded Charles cartoon. King Charles was faced with a protester who berated him after his landmark speech to Australia's parliament, and has now posted a vile cartoon showing the monarch beheaded. The Australian protester who overshadowed King Charles's speech in Australia earlier today and accused him of genocide has now posted a cartoon showing the monarch beheaded. Indigenous Australian Senator Lidia Thorpe made headlines on Monday after she told the King that Australia is not his land and shouted, "You committed genocide against our people." Ms. Thorpe waited until the end of a landmark speech Charles gave at Australia's Parliament House, in the nation's capital of Canberra, to verbally attack him, saying, "You are not our king, you are not sovereign. Give us our land back. Give us what you stole from us. Our babies, our people. You destroyed our land." Hello viewers, please remember to subscribe and click on the notifications bell icon, so you will be notified whenever we upload new cookies about the British royal family. After the was escorted out of the chamber, the senator went on to repost a cartoon showing the king's head lying next to a crown. The cartoon was originally posted by Matt Chun, founding editor of the Sunday paper. Ms. Thorpe was severely criticised for her confrontation by her colleague, Australian Senator Ralph Babet, who called her actions disgusting, saying, "I condemn in the strongest possible terms the actions of Senator Lidia Thorpe today at Parliament House, where she hurled verbal abuse at our king. To show such utter disrespect to King Charles, who has travelled sick to Australia, despite ongoing cancer treatment, is disgusting. Senator Thorpe has disgraced not only herself and the Australian Parliament, but every Australian man, woman, and child." Charles was said to be unruffled by the lone protester. Queen Camilla looked radiant in a knee-length silk blue and white dress by her favourite designer, Fiona Clare, as she greeted crowds in Canberra alongside King Charles. The royal couple's quick visit to Canberra on their second day of official appearances in Australia was swift but met mostly with excitement from the thousands of people who had lined up to greet the royal duo. Fans have gone wild for Camilla's beautiful dress, with Her Majesty wearing a full-sleeved pale blue and white print long dress with delicate patterning. Exclusive: the Australian senator who disrupted King Charles's landmark speech at Australia's Parliament House is now facing calls to resign following the latest stunt, which has been largely criticised worldwide. Lidia Thorpe, who is the first Aboriginal senator for the state of Victoria and frequently campaigns on First Nations issues, shocked the world with her outburst on Monday during the second full day of engagements for King Charles and Queen Camilla. Now Australia's monarchists have urged her to resign, as they vowed to do all things necessary to kick her out of Parliament. Proudly addressing Australia's Parliament in Canberra, King Charles wore an impressive array of medals and badges as he called on Australia to take a leadership role in the fight against climate change. King Charles called the growing intensity of bushfires and floods in the country an unmistakable sign of a warming planet. The King, on the second day of his Australia and Samoa tour with Queen Camilla, wore a dark blue suit with a full medal bar pinned to the left side of his jacket. The King and Queen Camilla made their way separately to the Rainforest Gully, as Charles walked down a path of uneven stairs with the head of the Gardens, Dr. Rebecca Pearsall. But the monarch tripped slightly as he did not see a step leading down to a viewing platform. A water dragon captured the Queen's attention while she was visiting the Australian National Botanic Garden on Monday afternoon. Camilla, 77, spotted the lizard on the grass and bent down to take a closer look at its angular head, high horn scales and flattened tail. Wearing a white and blue Fiona Clare dress that she changed into after visiting Parliament House, Her Majesty spent several minutes marvelling over the small reptile before continuing her tour. The gardens, located on the lower slopes of the Black Mountain in Canberra, boast the world's most comprehensive display of living Australian native plants and are the centre of Australian biodiversity research. The Queen spoke to a selection of volunteers about the Banksia species from the gardens before joining school children in nature-based educational activities. "It's extraordinary," she exclaimed. Asked how her trip was so far, she said, "It's been wonderful. It's very nice to be here in the gardens and the weather is perfect." King Charles was defended by another Australian senator after his speech at the country's Parliament House was overshadowed by a protest. The monarch was slammed by Australian Senator Lidia Thorpe earlier today, who told him "You are not my king" and demanded a treaty between Australia's First Nations and its government. But her disruption was not well received by some of her colleagues, including Senator Ralph Babet, who responded to her confrontation and called it disgusting. King Charles hit with petty insults from Australia just days before royal tour. Monarchists in Australia have accused state premiers of insulting King Charles and Queen Camilla after they declined to attend a welcome reception for the pair. Charles, 75, who has visited Australia 16 times, has put his cancer treatment on hold to ensure the 6-day trip can go ahead. Alongside the Queen, the King will attend a range of events aimed at fostering relationships between communities. The visit includes a reception in Canberra later this week, but the 6 state premiers of New South Wales, Victoria, Queensland, Western Australia, South Australia and Tasmania have said they are unable to attend. Bev MacArthur of the Australian Monarchist League said the premiers' actions were insulting. She added, "They should just take off their Republican hats, make the short trip to Canberra, say hi and thank you for coming to Australia." Victoria's Premier Jacinta Allen said she could not attend because she had a cabinet meeting. Her deputy, Ben Carroll, also refused the invitation, meaning Allen's Parliamentary Secretary Nick Stakos will represent the state. Queensland Premier Stephen Miles said he could not attend because he was currently working on his election campaign, while Tasmanian Premier Jeremy Rockliff said he was on a US trade mission. South Australian Premier Peter Malinauskas and New South Wales Premier Chris Minns also said they were attending a cabinet meeting. A spokesperson for Western Australia's Premier Roger Cook said he had other commitments. Bev MacArthur told the BBC, "The failure of state premiers to attend the reception in Canberra is completely indefensible." She accused them of gesture-led politics and said she remains unconvinced by the excuses from the regional heads of government, adding it was petty and inhospitable. Charles and Camilla are due to arrive in Australia on Friday. They will be heading to Sydney and Canberra, where protests are planned in a nation recently branded the most woke country in the world. It also comes as a new poll in Australia showed support for the monarchy remains high as the King set to embark on a historic tour of the country on Friday. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like this video and drop comments, and most importantly don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything.